Good morning. It is July 8th, 2026, 6:26 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this is your pre-market analysis. All right, jumping into the NASDAQ here. So NQ, yesterday, I was looking at this as a resistance level, and sure enough, that played out. Once we had this doji in here, that was it's always a kind of an indecisive candle. So it kind of leaves you with, well, price could go either way. And in this case, the trend was already to the downside, and we did have the resistance there. So I was leaning towards it going down. And we had this resistance here. So even if it would have wicked up into this area, I was thinking price would continue to the downside. Anyway, that's how this did play out. Went down into the EQ here. Now, if you look at the EQ is an area of support, and as you can see, we smashed through that. So yesterday's candle kind of closed right in this area. We moved back up into the middle of the EQ, the mean line, I guess you want to call that. And boom, it went down farther. So we do have our targets. So basically yesterday, this was one of my targets, 29,524. Key area I told you to keep an eye on, and sure enough, you can see when price did wick back up into this area, what did it use? That area. Use that level and pushed right back down again. So we are continuing down into this next target area, which I have is 28,797. And if we do smash through that one, I am looking at the prior month low here. This is an area of interest for me. That would be about 28,400 range. So something else we have too here is this interesting gap. You can see the body just kind of jumped away. So that's something that you may want to kind of put on your chart to keep note of. And it just happens to line right up with the prior month low. So that is some price action right there to keep an eye on. This should offer some kind of support. So if this does flip, in other words, if say price just smashes right through that, comes back up, retests it, then that's going to be resistance, and then it'll continue down. And then at that point, we'll reevaluate and look for some new targets. All right. So if for some reason the price does move back to the upside, this is what I would be watching right here is the EQ, because this EQ is going to be your resistance level. If we can get through that, then I believe we could reach for some highs again. But until then, it's a pretty bearish market. And of course, I guess overnight, President Trump made an announcement that he felt that the ceasefire in Iran was over. So the market did move down a little bit on that news. That was at like, I don't know, 4:16 a.m. or something like that. That news broke. So, all right, let's jump into ES quick. So ES has made its move down now. So for a little bit there, as I pointed out yesterday, that NASDAQ and ES were out of sync. NASDAQ was moved to the downside. ES is moving to the upside, and ES moved into this EQ area, which I was pointing out, and I had this pin here as an area of interest that would be resistance. Sure enough, 7,589 played out as resistance, and price is breaking down. Now here, once again, we have one of these gaps that I had already drawn out for you. And as you can see, it's no longer acting as support. Price did smash through it. So we have to see what this candle's going to do. Is it going to close below it? If it closes below it, then sure enough, we're looking at this now as flipped into resistance. It's no longer support. And then we will be looking for some new targets. And I would think down here in this range low area would be probably a good place. So maybe we could do some bouncing around in here, but you definitely have some interesting targets. You got the prior week low and the prior month low right down here. So these would all be areas of interest where I could see price being drawn to, aka draw on liquidity. So you got lots of liquidity down there. All right, jumping into Bitcoin quick. So Bitcoin, this is exactly the way I left it yesterday when I left off the video. I had drawn this out, and yeah, Bitcoin is retracing. So you had this wick right here. Boy, that was bullish, right? So that thing came down, and when it pulled back up like that, that was right off the news. Like Michael Saylor just sold a whole bunch of Bitcoins, and the price was going down, and it just pulled up like that. Everybody was cheering for Bitcoin. But here we go. So Bitcoin is slowly pushing back down again, and I still have this. Look at how that played out. It's kind of crazy, right? I still have this as a target. So I'm looking at this $56,000 as a target, and 51.3 area as maybe like a wick. It could just wick down in there and pull back out. Something like that, I'm thinking. With Bitcoin, it's hard to tell because Bitcoin just sometimes it just makes some big sudden moves and very unpredictable. But the key with Bitcoin is just knowing, what direction it's likely to head and kind of base your trades off these directions. But I'm looking right here. So you got this prior month low and prior week low. So this is an area that's going to definitely be a draw on liquidity. But if we lose this level, and then I'm looking at this right here, this 56,000, and this 56,000 area is the Q of the range that Bitcoin is currently operating in. So losing that would have us heading back down here into the range low, which is the 51,300. All right, so that is all I have for you today. Looking at this, the only thing I could say right here with Bitcoin yet is if it could find some support right in this level, this red line right here, it could find some support off of that and make a move up. That wouldn't surprise me. So, but Bitcoin is just very unpredictable. But currently, it is looking a little heavy. If it would find support and move up to the upside here, I am definitely looking at this 65,000 as an area of support. If it could find support on there, I could see it heading up here to the 67,000 and up. But as of now, it sure is looking kind of heavy. So that is all I have for you today. If you are trading today, good luck.